All right, yogis. So we're going to start in a meditation today. Sunday morning here, just a brief meditation with a little breathing practice. I'm going to start in what's called Vajrasana. So I am stretching out my ankles. It's literally called the grounding posture. So a fantastic way to just center, create self-awareness, kind of tune in and arrive into our practice. Okay. I kind of roll my shoulders back and down. I do like lift the heart, the chest a little bit. It's almost like I'm exaggerating that a little, but don't overarch your back. The head pulls back over the spine. So just notice if your head comes forward, pull it back a little bit, shoulders back and down. And one other thing here, yogis, we want to try to bring the tongue to the top of the mouth and seal the lips. So you're going to feel like everything under the chin and neck kind of pull up and lock in lightly, not clenching. Okay. You're going to calm your body now. Start to focus your attention inward on the more subtle sensations of the body, of the breath. Starting to more objectively witness, watch your thoughts. And just kind of notice energetically the status of your body and self in a more subtle way. You know, this is the foundation of yoga, whether you're running, working, doing physical practice. It's cultivating more self-awareness, presence, mindfulness, and awareness of yourself in the beginning. So when the postures change, let this still be the practice. Let's start to breathe a deeper, slow inhale in your nose. Maybe holding the breath for a moment at the top. And then a slower, deep inhale out your nose, trying to exhale also deeper than normal. So you'll feel kind of like your core contract on the exhale. Let's just take another minute here, really connecting to your breath. Slow inhale on your nose, trying to smooth out the breath. Maybe pausing at the top. And then a very slow exhale. Again, following the breath with your mind's eye. And we're just going to sit here for an hour today. Is that cool? That would be difficult, but really good for us, right? If you'd like to set an intention, do so now. A big thing in the beginning of yoga is a mantra. We did that yesterday, or a prayer to start your practice. All right, yogis, let's get going here. Let's come to our tabletop position. And remember, on Sundays, I kind of take the time to do more subtle things, where on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I don't as much. Let's do our cat-cows this morning, all right? Inhale, arch the back, lift the chin. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin. Okay, start to get into the core, the pelvic tilt, and the neck. Inhaling. So I am asking you to arch your back and round your spine. A lot of times you'll hear me say, take yourself out of arching or rounding, or look out for it. And here we're saying, no, go into it a little bit. All right? A little extra here for your wrists. I could turn my fingers outward, look at my fingers facing my knees. So that, some people call that like a reverse grip. My fingers face my knees, and I continue with the cat-cow, feeling the nice stretch in my forearms. Last few moments here, please. Second part of our cat-cow is a more complex style where I turn my fingers back forward, I start to arch, and then I circle the core, the pelvis, the tailbone. So you're almost being messy with your cat-cat. And just in case you can't see me from another angle, you see this kind of more exploratory approach. I'm just circling, looking for stickiness in the body that's hard to describe. Even cat cow is, it's fantastic, but it's very linear, and rarely is life linear as far as biomechanical movement. I do believe in a lot of foundational, structured, linear exercises, very, symmetrical, but that's only the tip of the iceberg, really, as far as the complexity of your body movement. We know that new movements and different movements stimulate new and different brain neural synapse patterns. So good for neuroplasticity, keep your brain young. So, you move a lot here, yogis. You think of it like a dance. You let loose a little bit. Okay. Yeah, and you can do anything here, really. Go to, child pose, cobra if you're ready. Even lift legs and bend arms. So remember, I like to encourage a lot of freedom in practice. I like to make a lot of suggestions. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do. There'll be times where I say, don't do this, but I want you to listen to your body as much as possible. Our next position is the down dog. So we're going to tuck our toes, press our palms down, lift our hips up and back. Remember that Iyengar said, down dog is a practice of shifting weight. The beginner has the weight in the hands more. We're shifting weight to the heels, to the feet more. So even here, I would like you to move around. Second position, pedaling your feet out. Try to loosen up your toes, particularly the big toe, your ankles, your Achilles, so the back of your lower ankle. And, you kind of bend and straighten. And even here, you're moving your hips side to side. I like to shake the head yes and no to encourage it to hang lower. Let's take a few more breaths here. And like I said, take advantage of when the body is feeling good. When I feel good, yogis, I exercise for 3 to 4 hours. And when I feel terrible, I take extra naps. All right. So anywhere in between, you're adapting exercise to the current conditions. If your body's low on energy, probably not too good to drain too much more, but still good to maybe work it lightly. Big inhale. No rush, we'll take it down to the knees. So a nice kind of classic warm-up here. It's just too good not to do, right? Phasic and tonic, asymmetrical. Press the feet down, grip the hands. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Try not to overarch your back. Here's where I'm going to say, don't overarch your back unknowingly. So pull the ribs in a little bit. Straighten, lengthen, lift. Exhale, squeeze it in. You can add things too, right? There's so many different subtle variations here if you're feeling creative and good. But I'm rounding and squeezing on the exhale. I'm inhale, lengthening on that inhale. If it's difficult, you could do it on just the leg. You could keep your hand out. If it's easy, we do it in high plank as well when you're feeling a little bit more warmed up or good. Okay, so you could hold high plank and do the exact same exercise. Last few on this side, please. This is one you can't really overdo, right? It's if you're looking for an exercise to do regularly, some variation within this type of movement is really good. All right, let's do our second side. Nice and simple. Right knee, left hand down. You can shake it out a little if you need. Left leg is going to rise. Right arm is forward, like you're kind of going to shake somebody's hand. Right? So it's kind of like a neutral rotation, a little bit more external or lateral from the shoulder. Okay? So get our nice hip extension and hip flexion here. You're inhaling, lengthening. Just pull that abdomen in. Don't overarch that back. Exhale, squeeze. Remember, that's the name of the game. It's like body awareness. Can I increase my self-awareness through the exercise, through the breath? Can I have more intention in what I'm doing? Just be more present with myself. Another thing that happens commonly here, your right foot is down, right? But you got to push it down to really ground yourself or you're very unstable. Also, the left hand should grip here. You don't want to just be heavy in the heel of your hand. use the muscles through the hand and the fingers to support those joints to stabilize your body, with more intention. All right. This gets a lot easier when if the left hand and the right foot are down, whatever's on the ground, you're grounding down well. This is very different at that point. Okay, last few moments. All right, I got one more kind of exercise here. Again, just taking some time for more subtle things. Think of it like body maintenance, really good, right? So I'm gonna meet you back here in tabletop. I might widen my knees a tiny bit or lengthen my hands forward. It's that big rotational quality. Right arm reaches underneath on the exhale. My right ear, shoulder can come down. Inhale, my right arm goes out, up and open. So yogis, I do want you to think spinal extension. So a little lift in the heart. Okay, as I rotate up and open. And then I exhale underneath, shoulder, elbow, ear down. Inhale, arm up, open. Okay, and from this angle, just in case you couldn't see it well, okay, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. It's a really nice one. It is that first big spinal rotation. So your spinal column is rotating. Be easy. It's warm up. We're not necessarily worried about how deep we can go, peak strength or flexibility. And usually probably good to go slow initially. You can build up speed. It's not wrong to do it fast, but when I exercise, sometimes if I start going fast, it's almost like a sign of I'm lacking awareness. So, slow down, try to feel everything more. How detailed can your awareness become of your body? That might be called yoga. So, you can do anything really and apply yoga principles. Okay. Now, I'm not going to have you hold the thread, the needle. Some of you are there. You can always add that in if you want. Okay. Right hand down. You could take a little neutralizer if you need. Let's do one more round here. Second side, excuse me. Left arm goes up and open. Exhale it underneath. Go ahead. A moving meditation. As some of the bhakti yogis say, can you work on putting your heart and soul into whatever you're doing? How can you apply that to this exercise? And this is really good for the chest. If you know your fitness, it's kind of like a back fly and a chest fly, or horizontal adduction, abduction. So you're opening up the chest, the transverse kind of across, and then you're kind of going here. It's almost like an eagle, where the arms are across the body. So spreading the back on the transverse across horizontally. It's a really nice exercise for a softer day. I have like these notes in my phone, exercises for really strong days, exercises for middle days, exercises for what I call like tired days. I have all these like little exercises I do on days where I'm, not feeling 100%, but they actually end up giving me energy and making me feel better, right? And this is one of those easier exercises. All right, first stronger exercise, guys, is our plank hold. Now, if it's too much, I'm gonna just bring you on your forearms and give those wrists a break. But any options are welcome. You wanna do push-ups, you're ready for handstand on the wall, don't be shy now, come on. Let's walk our feet back, drop those hips about as high as the shoulders. We're gonna hold for about a minute. You could add things like hovering the foot. If you're feeling good, you can even like step off your mat just to get creative. You know me, I like fitness and yoga, so let's not label one better than the other, or let's not be narrow-minded, okay? So we're working on spreading our back, engaging our butt here, really kind of tightening up the body. To be honest, planks aren't like my favorite exercise. They are fantastic for beginners, a good way to, learn to activate your legs with your core, with your upper body. So this compound strength, just kind of connecting muscle groups. Try to pull your belly in again. Don't let the back arch, and try to engage your butt. A lot of people aren't the abdomen pulls in and the butt engages to stabilize all that middle body weight. That's what's kind of the center point of the hanging down. Forearm plank, your hips are like an inch lower than your shoulders maybe. But if they have to be a tiny bit higher, that's okay. Just don't let your back arch and try to spread your upper back. So that is a protraction. Your shoulders kind of roll out and forward. Okay. I like planks for warm up. It's a great way to heat up turn on the whole body. So I don't really do planks personally that much, but they are good for a big group in the warm up. All right. All right. First big stretch here, guys. Let's lower down to the chest. Nice job there. Just reach your right arm out. I'm not going to have you hold this too long. All right. This is a quick taste here. Right arm reaches out. Right to your right here. See that? Push through your left hand. Roll to your right. Relax your right ear down, please. Reach your left leg behind you a little bit. Take a deep breath into any tightness. So just in case you can't see, yogis, you're here. So you're laying on your chest, your right arm's out, you're pushing through your left. Your left leg might reach behind you a little bit, but you relax your head down. Work on breathing into the tightness that's exposed via the position. So not only using pose to change, become more aware, but to get better at using the breath in the moment. We call it directional breathing. Can you aim your breath at a more refined, intentional space in your body? A lot of places to feel it. Where are you feeling it? Try to breathe into that area. Okay, second side when you're ready, please. Back to your chest, left arm reaches out. Push through your right hand, start to open your chest slightly to the right. You can feel it, elbow, bicep, front shoulder, chest, even through your abdomen and waist and hip a little bit. And you know me, no reason to stretch both sides the same. If your right shoulder is tight and your left shoulder doesn't really feel much, I would say go back to your right side. Don't even do the left side. You do not have to do both sides the same in any exercise. If your right side is a lot tighter, maybe stretch it more. If your left side's a lot weaker, like my body, I strengthen it more. That's just my personal philosophy. I don't know. It's just intuitively what my body tells me to do. All right, yogis. Now I'm going to keep moving forward and pace it out. We're going to meet back onto our chest. Now, let's not, this is a small movement. It is active though. It's strengthening. I want you to work on pointing your toes. So my legs release, my toes point. I press the big toe down. I engage my thighs. My knees hover like a quarter inch, barely. You can't even see it. You can see I'm lifting them and dropping them right now. They hover. I also hip thrust, which means I kind of posterior tilt. I press my pubic bone down, okay? I pull the belly in, and then I inhale with my back muscles. I lift. And if you notice, I did this little shift where I lengthened my core more, and I'm lifting. I feel my back muscles activate. If I want a little bit more, I can keep my arms either here lifting or down by my sides lifting. But I'm not using my hands yet to lift. I'm more using my back muscles to lift, okay? After a nice pause, I'm gonna lower down only about 80%, so I'm not gonna go all the way. And then I'm gonna lift back up to my peak lift, trying to activate my legs more, pull my navel in more. So I'm not obsessed with how high can I lift. I'm seeing if I can teach my legs to activate with my lower back and my abdomen and my upper back, okay? Lower down, let's do about 3-4 more. Again, a nice pause. So there is movement, lifting up and moving down, but also a nice pause to really feel what we're doing. If you feel your lower back slightly compressing and activating, you are doing it correct. Last few. Nice little pulse up there is totally, I do that a lot, where I kind of get into an end range of a contraction, especially in like body weight training. And I do this like little, it's a very small kind of pulse or movement, bounce, but it's, Small movement, yogis, there, okay? This is the lower back we are working. It tends to be a sensitive space in a lot of our bodies, right? So listen, you're gonna lower down. If you want a Cobra 2 now or an up dog, think more stretch, but still trying to activate your back body. You slide your hands into your lower ribs, you press through your hands, or more like pull through your arms and lift the chest a little higher now. Still try to pull your navel in, roll your shoulders back and down, engage your legs, and lift the chin. Sorry, guys, I'm like super sore today, so I can't really demonstrate everything. I had a couple really kind of active days in a row. So my hips and my lower back are kind of tight and sore. All right, we're gonna meet back in downward dog, please. If you need to visit child pose, it might be a nice time. Again, a slower kind of practice. Down dog, all right? So second time here, we're gonna go into a big side stretch in down dog, all right? So it's kind of, you gotta listen closely. So once you're in down dog, bring your feet hips width distance. Hips go up and back, right? Lift your heels high and then drop your heels to the right. Keep lifting your hips up and back, but you can drop your hips to the right also. You're gonna feel a big lengthening through your left pinky, armpit crease, ribs. It's a big lateral tilt. So we're not in plank pose. We're in down dog and our heels and hips went to the right. You feel a big side body stretch. Looks good from what I can see. Okay, and then your heels come back to center, heels to the left. Still lift, shifting weight towards your feet, hips up and back, head between your arms and low, and then hips might drop left a little as well. Does everyone get that? Looks pretty good from everyone I can see. Okay, now we're just gonna do a few chaturangas. Take your time. Inhale back to center, heels toward the floor. So now we'll inhale, shift the plank pose. Extra push-ups are welcome. Bend the elbows halfway or all the way down. Nice big inhale, turn the top of the feet down. Inhale, pull that chest forward and up. Breath is guiding movement. Downward dog, tuck chin, lift hips up and back. So you kind of tuck your chin and toes at the same time, and navel pulls up and back. The core leads the hips up and back. Inhale, high plank. Please take your time, articulate your spine. Exhale, halfway or all the way. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Everyone looks like they know this. Take a few more, think 5 to 10. When I'm feeling really strong, a 3-legged variation, I'll add a lot of extra push-ups. I'll go really slow sometimes. I'll even go like up dog, back to low plank. So I'll add more challenging movement there. If I'm feeling tired, maybe a little bit more on the knees, or knees, chest, chin, a little bit more the spinal rounding, articulating, I mean. So, have some fun here, yogis. Get into your variation. Yeah, some of you are skipping these. That's okay. Chaturangas are fantastic. Think flexibility and strength. Do you feel a little too tight? Do you feel a little loose? You can shift your intention a little to think stretchy. Or if you're feeling like you need strength, tighten up a little bit here and there. It's full body, front and back body. It's really good stuff. Now, I'm going to keep moving. I see quite a few is look done. That's my signal to kind of move forward so we can get right to the next thing. Next time you're in down dog, let's bend our knees, look forward. You're going to slowly walk your feet to the front of your mat. So I'm not demonstrating, right? So you can just stay in your practice with your body awareness and not have to look at the screen so much. So let's walk our feet to the front of our mat. Take a nice inhale, half lift. So your hands go in your shins or your knees area, and you lengthen your chest forward. Try to lean your weight into your toes. Think of it as a hinge, reverse hinge. So coming from low, you inhale half to like a 7 in your body, and then you exhale, forward fold. And you take a few breaths there. I like to sway side to side after the stiff chaturangas, kind of walk my hands back to that exploratory approach toward the body, looking outside the lines. So there's always this heavy dose of looking for stickiness that's hard to describe in those in-between spaces. I like to also throw, my favorite version is to, after the chaturangas and the planks, you throw your hands behind your lower back and intertwine your fingers, and you reach the arms up and over. So I did mention If you have blocks, this would be a good place for them. If you don't have blocks, you're gonna have to bend your knees a lot, okay? But let's try something. I move forward, feet a little bit wider than hips width distance possibly. Inhale, lengthen our spine. Look at my spine, more parallel to the floor, okay? Bend your left knee, left hand down underneath your left shoulder. Inhale, right arm up and open. So we did a movement like this earlier. Now we're gonna hold, okay? Right arm can go around the back, searching inner left thigh. Try to press through the big toes a little bit more. You can work on straightening both legs, but easier to start bending that left knee. Just don't lean back like this, yogis. Shift more forward a little bit. Just turn your chest up open to the sky. If you're feeling really good, you could lift your left leg up and back already. We haven't done a lunge. We haven't done really a squat. We haven't really done much hinging either. So, be easy if this is too much, right? This is easier. Okay, big inhale. Right hand goes down. Bend your right knee, straighten your left leg. Okay, push through your right hand, left arm out and up. Some of us work on straightening right leg more. I think I saw a few of you, your right leg lifts. That's called the revolved half moon, right? Think of it like a static back fly. So we're, again, back to the idea of opening the chest laterally. You hear yoga teachers all the time say, spread your collarbones. Not my favorite body cue, but kind of makes sense. Nice. Yeah, somebody's getting creative. Revolve Chapasana. Don't be shy now. If you're feeling good, don't hold back. You have to find space in your life to let loose and go crazy a little bit, okay? Let's go. Left hand down, right foot down. Bend the knees, chair posture. So this would be like our first weight-bearing squat chair. So bend your knees. Now, where are your feet? Are they always in the same old position? If they're always together, widen them. If they're always too wide, maybe bring them a little more narrow. Let's take a few more breaths. Arms reach to the sky. Bend your knees. Lean the upper body back. So think of it should be a little uncomfortable, right? You don't want to lean forward too much. It's an anti-hinge. So your upper body's going to want to go forward. Don't let it. Lean the upper body back. Sit low, reach high. Can you lengthen your neck a little bit more? But still, notice if your head is way forward, pull it back slightly. Tongue to the top of the mouth, right? You're working on getting those legs firing, working here. Okay, big inhale. Stand up, please. Rise up, squeeze the butt, lift the heart. Arms reach up, inhale, back to side bending. Today, a little different. Intertwine your fingers, your palms squeeze together tight. Don't release your palms, release your index finger though. So it's called the Kali Mudra in yoga. You're gonna reach your arms up, squeeze your butt, reach a lot of strength here, but also stretch. We're gonna side bend over to the right. Okay, lean your weight into your heels, press your big toe. It's more like you're padding to your big toe. So I'm pressing this part down right here. Okay, the padding of the big toe. So it's almost like I can lift my toes, right? Inhale back to center, please. Over to your second side. Notice if you arch your back. So this tends to be common here, guys. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but don't let that happen. If I'm over to the left, I'm spiraling my chest up to the right, and my right hip goes forward. Just notice compensations. Where does your body go without you noticing? Via tension, tightness. Okay? Inhale back to center. Exhale, hands toward heart center. Left foot to the back of your mat. We're moving a little bit faster here now, kind of getting deeper into it. Again, a little bit slower in general though. Inhale, arms go high. Now bend the front knee. Now remember, the leg and back wants to take my pelvis with it, so anterior tilt. I want to see a slight tuck of the tailbone. Okay? Even if you have to bend your back knee, that's fine. Okay? Big twist now. Hands in prayer. Bow and twist. So we just came from a twist, right? If it's too much, drop your back knee. No big deal. Just try to lengthen, lift. So extend the spine slightly and turn the chest up to the right. We're not holding very long. 2 more breaths. Big, slow inhale in your nose. Big, slow exhale. That's one breath. Inhale. And exhale. Back toes tuck. Inhale, back knee lifts, rise up. Listen, step your back foot in. Seal your back heel. Big hamstring stretch. I'm gonna go dynamic today, which means movement. Your back toes angle forward but open. Your right hip goes back. Start with your hands on your hips. Don't arch your back. Pull your ribs in. We're gonna inhale, hinge, forward, pausing. So I'm not saying like how far can I go just yet. I'm working on hinging, pausing, and strength. I gotta activate my quads, the muscles above the knee, and then back up, all right? I'm working here, right hip back, inhale, and exhale. Let's say about 6 to 12 on that side. Don't round that spine now. So maybe you only go down a third, okay? Pull the belly in, lengthen through your side bodies, but also relax a little. I said, sometimes to practice, it's like, hey, you're working now. Some of yoga is feeling good. Some of yoga, let's say exercise, some of physical activity is feeling good. Some of it is work. And there's a big difference. We can't be too, easy on the body. Sometimes healthy forms of the stress in the body is what's going to build it. So you got to find those moments where you're okay with being uncomfortable and work in that space. All right. If you want to hold it, again, I don't static stretch every day, right? I dynamic stretch a lot. So if you want to forward fold and hold it, feel free. That's when you lower and then take your hands on the floor of the block and you kind of forward fold more. Your spine will round more, right? You could flex your right foot as well. Last 2 to 3 breaths here, please. You see, some days I'll like move my hips a little bit. It's kind of like a lateral tilt. I like to do cat-cows here a little bit. Now, please take your time. We're going to bend that knee. We're going to rise up, nice and simple. We're going to step our left foot forward. But before we do our second side, I want a little symmetrical neutralizer here. Take your hands on your hips. I want you to think back bend. Camel. Fingers face up on your glutes. None of this, okay? It's this. A slight tuck of your tailbone, a lifting of your chest, and the hips do go forward. So it's posterior tilt, hip extension, and spinal extension, right? It's also knee extension. So, if you want to go crazy, ankle plantar flexion, it's the triple extension, standing back bend. All right, now we're going to go yogi squat. So you come back up, widen your feet. It's our deepest squat so far. So hands in prayer, and you sit low, buttocks towards your heels try to stay on the mat, hands come in prayer. Now some of us just stay here. If you're ready for a crow pose, hands plant, elbows in, you start to fly. You can do handstand, headstand, kundanyasana, titibhasana, ekapada, kakasana, if you know any of those other arm balances. Last few moments. Think of this as like a symmetrical reset, all right? You kind of stretch your front body, shorten your back body, and then now you stretch your back body and shorten your front body more. Okay, nice. Some of you are still going. You take your time. Let's slowly, strong legs and core. Let's press up all the way. So that is a full range squat training. Not easy, okay? All the way up. All right, right foot to the back of your mat. Take a couple breaths in your high lunge to start, all right? So remember, you want a nice long stride. You don't want to get like too stuck in here. We do stuff like this as well, right? But I want a nice long stride for right now where the right leg goes back. Now, do I press my heel back or do I press it forward? Really, the answer is both. I do both, depending on what I feel like my body needs. Here, we're taking the arch out of the back, so you might press your back heel a little more forward. Okay, and a slight tuck of your tailbone. Another breath or two in your high lunge. And then we're going to bring our hands in prayer, and we're going to start to hinge. And then from that hinge, rotate your core to the left. Take your time. Right elbow might rest on the outer left knee thigh area. You can drop your back knee underneath your hip, but can you do a little lift in the chest and turn via the core? All right. And you breathe in there, yogis. Breathe into that tightness. You know me, I'm a big fan of that back body breathing, the trying to breathe into your lower back more, your back ribs and your upper back. And then, a lot of times we're breathing into the underarms, like the armpit and the side ribs are working on expanding outward. So where can you bring the breath into that tightness in the core here? Nice. If you know how to spread your arms or work on a bind, that's always welcome. Okay, I'm just keeping it simple Sundays, right? Inhale, go ahead, high lunge. So now we're going to step our back foot a little bit closer. Some of you shorten your stance a little too much. Your back foot does step in, your front leg straightens. Your feet are about hips width distance. So I know Iyengar does this thing where the heels are aligned, but that is more intermediate. I want the feet a little bit wide, just a little bit, okay? Back toes angle open, left hip back. Dynamic hinging today. We're not doing sun salutation. So we got to get some dynamic movements in here where strength is required, but also flexibility is slightly tested. We're inhaling forward. Got to work these muscles right here. You see these muscles above the knee lift. That's key here. Exhale back up. Pull that belly and lift that heart a little bit, okay? Inhale, I pause. It is more challenging with your hands behind your head or your arms reaching forward. That just creates a little bit more like that lever weight, all right, where the weight of the body is extended further out from the midline. So you're trying to get like 5 to 10. If this is your weaker leg and side, I want you to slow down and get better at setting an intention. I got to focus on my weaker side more. I know it's going to hurt a little bit more on the weaker side. You're uncomfortable. But that's going to pay those dividends in the long run. All right. You get that value on working that weaker side. It's very tempting to want to go hard on the strong side, right? And then you're kind of like lazy on the weak side. Some of you are forward folding and holding. So your hands would go on your blocks for most of us or the floor. So this is our biggest hamstring stretch of class, all right? Just so you're aware. Flex your left foot, left hip back and down, and start to bring the forehead, the chest more toward the leg. Still try to be active in your legs, yogis. It's a very good idea to, you know me, I'm a big fan of passive stretching. I have a yin class after this, right? Yin yoga. It's the most passive exercise possible, but it's a good idea to always teach your body to be strong in any range of motion you're developing. It's rare in life that you're ever going to need to be flexible without activating. Maybe in bed or something, but when you're sleeping, but that's it. You need that strength in any range of motion that you're developing. Okay. Now, please take your time. You're going to bend that front knee, rise up to your high lunge. You're going to slowly just step your back foot forward, standing back bend. So this is a camel. It's the same body form as cobra, actually, right? So remember in the beginning, we did the active cobra like this, right? So this, hands on your hips, fingers face up. Same thing, right? I just don't want to see this. Posterior tilt, slight tuck of your tailbone. Chest lifts, thoracic extension. Hip thrust, hip extension. Okay? Head can drop back. You can open your mouth, release your jaw, and your head literally falls back. Now, take your time. I know that can be a tough one. You get that lower abdominal tension. We'll come back up. We'll do yogi squat one more time, please. You know me, I basically squat every single day in some form. All right, every single day. This is one of the most functional ranges of motion you can develop. All right. Second round of crow is welcome. We have chicken posture, spreading the arms, binding. I'm just going to keep it simple Sunday. Give you the opportunity to be creative. Okay, we have one more short standing flow. All right, please take your time. I want you to think rotational and coronal, so like abductions, adductions, and rotations. All right, we're going to meet strong legs and core in a standing position. At the top of a long hold squat, I squeeze the glutes, lift the chest. All right, widen your feet, please. Turn your feet open. I want you to think of this like another chair or even a squat in a sense, right? It's that most laterally rotated and abducted squat. So you're sitting low. Look how I give a little bounce here. And our final big rotational day today, all right? I want you to work the core. It's like I'm holding an imaginary block. If you have one, you can, but don't really hold it, just squeeze it. You know this one, we gotta do this one at least once a month. You're gonna exhale down to the right. You're gonna inhale up to the left from the core. Exhale. Do my legs change? No, the legs are very closed chain and static, okay? The legs aren't moving, buckling in and out. Try not to tense your shoulders up, okay? Try not to round the spine either. You're exhaling down to the right. You're inhaling up to the left, okay? Last few on your first side. We're not alternating sides here, yogis, all right? Slow down now, slow down. Can you feel it in your core more, please? Remember that, a few weeks ago, we did the big circling here too, where you're bending over, hinging, and the more complex. So I think I see one or two of you doing that. This is a little different. It's just up to the left, down to the right. Exhale down to the right, inhale to the left. Hold that chair now, yogis. Neutralize. This is peak legs right here, right? Down to the left. Exhale, inhale up to the right. It's the second side. I'm exhaling down to the right. It's not a game of how far can I reach down or up necessarily, okay? Yoga on social media has gotten a bad rap, myself included. How far and flexible can I be? That's a very good way to injure yourself. I know, I've had all those injuries. Less range of motion is safer. Range of motion training is different than strength training, okay? This is a little bit more for like functional strength, the ability to kind of keep sturdy, strong legs, bend over down to the side, and then kind of lift up like it's like you're bend, unpacking books. You bend over and then you put them up on the shelf. Okay. I always tell people, you want to like increase range of motion significantly, you better be ready for some injuries because your body's not used to that and you don't have the muscle stability. I've had all those yoga injuries like 8-10 times. Depends on your goals. It's fun to do the exciting athletic stuff, but it's also you pay the price. All right, so I see a lot of you quitting. I want the legs to tremble here. That's the key, all right? Because we got one more stretch. Because now you get that rest. So you're gonna take your blocks here, and this is that gracilis. So it's like your posterior groin, medial hamstring, right here in the back of the knee. It's called triangle pose in yoga. Love this stretch here. Right toes turn out. Left toes, I'll move my block so you can see. Left toes turn to the right, okay? My palms are gonna face forward. Don't let your feet get too close together. I want those feet pretty, 3 to 4 feet wide. Arms wide, drop your right hip, lengthen laterally, and hinge. This is like our last lateral pose. So no side plank this morning. No half moon. Lengthen your right side body. Pull your upper body back. If I could show you one last thing here, yogis, sometimes from this angle you can see, you see how my upper body's forward? My left shoulder is turning down. I want to try to turn my left shoulder up and look at the upper body. It stacks more over the front leg. You see how now I look more narrow in my body? That the hips are kind of driving forward in front of me, particularly my right bottom hip. And then I turn my chest up and open. I engage my quads. The muscles above the knee lift. And I press the big toes down. Lengthen through my side bodies. Okay? Nice. Yeah. You can go to Half Moon if you're feeling good too, right? I think we did that Thursday and Saturday though, right? So we'll skip it today. So let's do our second side. Please hold longer if you feel needed. We'll just rise up, turn our left toes all the way open, and our right toes turn to the left as well. Okay, you drop your left hip down. It's a big lateral tilt day. Lengthen, hinge laterally, and then find your block. Can you work on strength here though? That's what I see a lot, yogis, when I walk around yoga rooms, is people don't activate their legs. They get heavy in the arms here. So I always cue, work on making your left hand lighter here. So it's almost like you're starting to hover the left hand. It's not a good idea. The legs are the weight-bearing body parts. Core, if you can't get up out of bed and walk around all day, what is core and upper body strength doing? Nothing. The core is what connects your upper body to your legs, and it sits on top of those legs. The legs are weak. We know in exercise science that people who train their legs less have way more spinal compressions, herniations, bulging discs. The legs signal the upper body to be stronger as well. All right, legs first. You know me, legs every day, whether it's therapeutics or peak weight bearing. So when you're ready, exit slowly, please. I have our last standing posture, last standing pose. Now, I love the Warrior 3, the one-legged hinge. I'm just going to have you hold it because we did the dynamic hinge. I'm going to have you pivot to the right, final standing posture of class. So now my legs kind of like scissor together slightly, so it's more of an adduction. It's more symmetrical. It's more of that sagittal, right? So I bend my right knee, I lift my left leg, and I want a solid go here. Left hip down, left leg lifts. Lengthen my core. If you want to add anything, handstand hops, standing splits, you can. We already did the hyper forward bend in the pyramid posture earlier. So do you need standing splits? Maybe, but a nice kind of real stable mid-range also might be good here. I'm all about trying to teach you guys to just understand what your body needs, not to depend on teachers, coaches, trainers. Obviously you always go to professionals. I still study daily, but keep developing your ability to give yourself what you need and not just kind of blindly follow somebody who kind of knows systems well. All right. Let's do our second side, please. Landing your left foot down. I need a long hold there, a straight leg hinge hold. Second side. I like to do this exercise a lot with even a weight. If you're not doing stuff like that, you can grab a weight and go down and up. You can even hold it in a static form. So it's called Warrior 3 in yoga. This is our final standing posture. Remember, Advanced Warrior 3 in yoga is where you lift your standing heel slightly. So it is a much more challenge on your ankle and your balance. Yogis, your right hip has to drop down. So this side, I'm seeing some of you get lazy. Lazy is a bad word. Some of you are starting to lose your energy and your focus. So the right hip is going to want to tend to open up. Don't do that. You got to drop the right hip down and lift the left leg, lift the right leg. You can bend your right knee all you want. Work on straightening your right leg more, the lifted leg. Eventually you do straighten your left leg as well. There's no real wrong, yogis. I go into the gym and I do dorsiflexion hinges with locked knees and rounded spine. People must think I'm an idiot, right? But it's just a progression. I round my spine all the time in weight bearing. But would I suggest that to a large group of people? No. I've done the hinges countless times, I've done the bent knee hinges and the long spine. So you got to be careful with the wrong and right. It's just levels for different people on different times, okay? So listen, yogis, let's stand up. Looks like most of you are done. I want to take one little sun salutation to cleanse the palate. So we'll stand up, squeeze the butt, lift the heart. Let's close it up. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, half lift. Think of it as our reset. High plank to low plank. Up dog or cobra. Down dog. All right, down to the knees, widen your feet, slide your butt between your hips. I'm not gonna do like abs today, okay? If you wanna add anything, that's fine. Remember, we only got about 5, 6, 7 minutes left in class. I'm gonna close you out with a stretcher 3, 2, and then I'll lead you into meditation, all right? So my knees are together. This is the deepest bending of my knees. Yogi squat was preps, child pose was prep. And now it's the deepest bend of the knee and the kind of biggest front body stretcher class you could say, all right? We did a lot of twist standing. We did that dynamic twist, couple of them. We did a lot of lateral positions and a lot of, forward and back. But let's stretch out our front body now. We were bent over a lot, okay? I'm starting to go to my forearms. With practice, you can bring your head or your upper back down. Now, even though I can do that on most days, I feel a little tight in my lower back. So I probably am not going to do that today. Yesterday we did that frog posture, which is similar to this, but actually the frog is a bigger front body stretch. It's basically the biggest front body stretch you can do, as the one we did yesterday in the stronger class. All right, now please take your time. Let's slowly sit up. Shake your legs out a little bit. Now, I'm gonna do this seated quick rotational stretch. If there's another hip stretch you want to do, this is kind of the last one of the class. Figure 4, but seated today. It's kind of like a substitute for pigeon. We do our cross leg forward fold often. Any of those are fine, all right? You're gonna bring your right ankle atop your left knee. I'm still upright and seated. I'm gonna bend that left knee. So the left foot is on the floor. My right foot is flexing. My right knee goes away. See how I kind of, I turn my hands back so I can push a little bit, lift that heart up toward the shin. A few more breaths. Big inhale. At your pace, we're just going to switch sides, left heel. This is a form of this stretch that I tend not to teach that much, and it is a great one. So if you just notice a pattern and a certain approach towards releasing certain muscles, try something new. Notice I am flexing my left foot here, yogis. This is active, okay? Helps support the joints. Now, we did a lot of twisting today, but if you feel like you need a kind of stretchy twist, I get it. You can do seated spinal twist, so take your time. You're going to release your hip. These kind of go nice together, the last two. And your right heel outside your left knee, and you gently twist to the right. All right? You roll your shoulders back and down, you lift your heart. And again, we've done a lot of twisting, so you might feel it tomorrow. All right? Another nice option for your twist, if the seated isn't really kind of resonated with you, you can lay on your back and take the knees or one knee across the body. Okay, and then you'll slowly unwind, switching sides, either left heel outside right knee, twisting left, or in my case, I'm left knee across to the right. This is a particular posture, like, breathing deep into your lower back and your back ribs, your side waist, really powerful. So you see it all through class, right? We did like a rotational hip release. We did rotational spine. We did our back bend before that, or front body lengthener. And now it's our final back body lengthener. If you're seated, you can either reach for your toes. If you want to lay on your back and go easy, you could do a little happy baby. If you want to go big, you could do something like a plow. Warning, this is one of the more kind of risky challenge yoga poses. All right, my weight is in the spinal flexion on my neck. So my hands are on my hips and I'm being very easy. I'm not using momentum. I'm not looking around here, okay? I'm lengthening the back of my neck, bringing my feet toward the floor behind my head. Yogis, we got about 2 minutes. If there's any last posture you want to do, you want to put a block under you. If you'd like to put your legs up the wall, fantastic ending here as well. You don't need another forward bend. We've done too much. What's one more posture you feel like you want? Do that now, right? So what I'm asking you to do is close up your physical practice intuitively and then prepare for closing meditation. And I'm just going to, talk about meditation a little bit here to start. Remember that if you want to start a meditation practice, it's a good idea to create a system or intention of how to get into it, a preparation. I like to say like a warm up, right? Like you don't just go from your normal life to your intense exercise. You have this bridging of the gap. You kind of, put certain clothes on. You go somewhere particular. You have these certain body things you do to get prepared for your exercise. And we do the same in meditation. It's not likely if you just you just get off your phone and you just watch it and okay, now I'm going to close my eyes and meditate. If you had the more kind of prep you can do, let's call it, the better chances you're going to go deeper for longer in meditation. That's something I learned, I've done like 3 meditation trainings, and that is like one of the most key things I learned to really become a meditator. And the first thing that we always do is get comfortable, right? So when you're done, some of you are still going with your exercise, that's fine. You can do your meditation whenever you want. So you want to get comfortable. So I'm sitting on a block here. You can lay on the floor. Certain days I always lay in relaxation meditation, but a lot of days I sit up here and I'm sitting on a block. Even though I can sit on the floor rather easy, I still want to make it easier on the body. So I want to set a lot of intention of how I set up the body. So if I'm laying, I fidget, I lift my chest, roll my shoulders kind of back and down, and I make sure I optimize my comfort in my body. It's going to be almost impossible to meditate if your body's aching. Okay. And then you think of other things like your environment. Ideally, it's quiet. I live on a boulevard, so I actually put earplugs in a lot when I meditate. I cover my eyes. I will put like a blanket over if I'm laying. I also have an eye cover. So I do that. So you're comfortable, it's quiet, it's dark. And then you want to commit to being like still. So you fidget a little bit initially. Calming the body is the first stage towards meditation. All right. And that includes calming your breath. You can use your breath as a system to, if your mind always is racing and wandering, you bring it back to the inhale and exhale. But eventually you're not really breathing in meditation either. Okay. So you're calming your body, your breath, and that's going to help your mind settle. So you're comfortable, you're calm, you're still, you're quiet. You bring your attention inward, focus in that inner space. And then you just start to let your body melt. And you let go, yogis, you surrender in trance. So yogis, I'm going to leave you here, all right? I got to sign out and get to my next class. It's in 1.5 hours. Have a great 4th of July. Thanks for showing up and working, putting in that effort. I do have Yoga Core Tuesday, 9 a.m., Hatha Yoga Thursday, 9 a.m., and Power Vinyasa Saturday, 8 a.m. I appreciate you guys. Namaste.